To make sure his daughter would never get bullied at school, the billionaire pulled every string he could. He even spent millions to secretly hire Ethan Cole to protect her. For the money, he had no choice but to swallow his pride and follow her everywhere. But Ava Sterling had no idea. To her, he was nothing but a pathetic stalker. Yet the moment he earned enough, cut all contact, and vanished. Ava suddenly panicked. That was when Mr. Bennett placed a large bag on the table. "You're graduating soon. From now on, stay away from Miss Ava Sterling. Our arrangement ends here." He opened the duffel bag. Stacks of cash spilled out, tumbling onto the floor. Halfway through counting, he suddenly remembered something important the butler said. "So you mean, from now on, I don't have to follow Ava Sterling? Don't have to take care of her anymore?" That's right. 2 years earlier, the billionaire's daughter transferred into the school. She was stunning, cold, refined beauty, but quiet, withdrawn, rarely spoke. To Ethan, she was basically a pretty block of wood. Yet, countless people were drawn to her looks, falling head over heels for Ava. But every single one of them was ignored by her icy gaze. Some, after failing to pursue her, grew spiteful. Rumors spread like wildfire. When Richard Sterling found out, he donated an entire building to the school. The rumors vanished overnight, but he was still worried about her safety. He couldn't place 2 bodyguards at her classroom door. While debating, your name appeared on Richard Sterling's desk. Trained in martial arts, grew up poor, and in the same class as Ava Sterling. A deal was struck instantly. He pays, you protect his daughter. A bright future for both. But the job made you look like a pathetic follower because you stayed beside Ava no matter how cold she was. Treated her well, without conditions, without pride. No one else could have done it. You assumed you'd keep tailing her until graduation. But yesterday, everything changed. A thug from a rival school, Chase Dalton, saw Ava and instantly lost his mind. Tried to corner her with his gang. The moment Ethan saw that, rage erupted. No one was allowed to harm his client. After knocking out over a dozen guys, the Sterling bodyguards arrived to take Ava home and cleaned up the scene. Unexpectedly, the next morning, you received a message from Richard Sterling. The deal was cancelled, but that didn't matter. Ava wasn't your only client anyway. And besides, by the end of the month you'd have enough for college. You stuffed the entire $1,000,000 into a travel bag. Mr. Bennett sighed at the cut on your lip. This kid really lives for the money. Is he truly that broke? Watching you leave, Mr. Bennett asked, did you ever like Miss Ava? You opened the door and said seriously, I like all my clients. They're all my lucky stars. If something similar comes up again, call me. The door closed. Mr. Bennett could only shake his head. A kid like you, he'd never seen one before. Normally, someone labeled a stalker would hide, but you always smiled brightly, and nothing ever fazed you. Soon it was Monday. You didn't need to wake up early anymore to make breakfast for Ava. A small smile appeared. Ava Sterling had chronic stomach pain and was extremely picky with food. She once fainted from low blood sugar, and it just so happened right in front of you. She even hit her head on the ground. Knowing her condition, and that she hated breakfast, you started cooking porridge for her. At first, you thought she'd reject it coldly, but surprisingly, maybe she was too used to fancy meals, because sometimes she actually liked the simple porridge. She even enjoyed it. From that day on, you woke up early every day to prepare breakfast for Ava. Ava wasn't stupid. Every time, she handed you 100 yuan, cold or not. Money was money. That's what you told yourself as you walked into class 12A1 with her. The moment you stepped inside, the room went silent. Every gaze shifted to the space behind you. Because, ever since Ava transferred here, you were always by her side. It was like you had a radar. Wherever Ava was, you were there. But today, Ava was missing, and the whole class was stunned. Looks like the sun must have risen in the west today. The lovesick idiot finally changed. Someone mumbles that under their breath, and the whole class bursts into laughter. Ethan Cole shoots them a bored glance. His voice calm, almost lazy. The homeroom teacher's 10 seconds away. Everyone instantly goes pale. They scramble back into their seats. Seeing that, Ethan chuckles and shakes his head. Teenagers and their pride bigger than the sky never use their brains. So many people like Ava Sterling. Why should he be the only one allowed near her? If Ava truly didn't want it, she had 1,000 ways to push him away, but she never did, which meant she accepted that kind of attention. Ethan couldn't help sighing. You guys had it handed to you, and still refused to bite. But now, whether she accepts it or not, doesn't matter anymore. He walks to his desk and drops his bag. His desk mate, Kevin Chen, hides behind a textbook, sneaking bites of bread under the table, eyes darting nervously toward the hallway. He's really here. Ethan subtly signals, I didn't see anything. Kevin breathes out in relief, and takes another giant bite. Suddenly, a piercing voice screeches, sending chills down everyone's spine. The one and only tyrant of Class 12A1. Homeroom teacher Madison Lee has arrived. The moment she appears, Kevin shoots Ethan a look of pure despair. It's over. The witch has spoken. He trudges out anyway, shoulders slumped, off to stand outside. Ethan puts his bag away and grabs his books to follow. The moment they step out, Kevin lunges at him. Dad, why didn't you walk in with the school princess today? Before he can finish, hurried footsteps echo down the hall. Kevin jolts. Wait of us late. A rare sight. The class starts murmuring. Ethan turns. Sure enough, a tall, slender figure appears, breathing lightly, walking through a crowd of sweaty students. Ava Sterling, cool, clear, and stunning as a mountain spring. People tease Ethan for being whipped, but no one ever doubted his taste. It's just today she looks a little off. Ethan glances at her flushed cheeks from running, then lowers his head, pretending not to care. That day, Mr. Bennett asked him something odd. Do you like Ava? It couldn't be for no reason. It had to come from Richard Sterling. A father terrified his daughter might be swept away by some wild boar, but Ethan took the money, and he always keeps his word. The deal was done. He had to stay away from Ava Sterling. Completely. No ties left. Kevin sneaks closer with a sly grin. Bro, your goddess is here. You're not gonna say hi. Dude, she's rarely late. No wonder she looks exhausted. Ethan flips a page calmly. Isn't she your goddess too? You go say hi. Kevin shrinks back. She's too pretty. I can't. She's so pretty. It's painful. Ava's ponytail, a little messy from running, sways gently as she approaches. Right before stepping into class, she spots Ethan leaning against the wall, reading, her brows knit slightly. Then she walks in. Kevin stares at Ethan with sympathy. Makes no sense. Man, you chased her for 2 years, and she didn't even glance at you. Maybe just give up. It might be good for you. But I know you won't. What? You think I'm stupid? Why would I give up that easily? I even prepared a whole speech to comfort you. This isn't going by the script. A laugh glints in Ethan's eyes. He pats Kevin's shoulder, surprised. I'm not chasing her anymore. Kevin goes numb. He's heard too many rumors about Ethan. That he lost all dignity over Ava, and worse, she never reciprocated, making him look like a clown. Someone that persistent, and now he gives up like it's nothing. Kevin touches his own lips, stunned. Ethan can't help laughing. Before, all his attention was on Ava, so he never realized his deskmate was hilarious. Familiar footsteps echo. Ethan murmurs, Ava's coming out. Kevin widens his eyes and turns. Sure enough, Ava steps out, hugging her books. Like a soft breeze, you can feel her, but never grasp her. But right now, the breeze stops beside him. Ethan glances sideways at her. Her profile pale, calm, distant. I had no idea what the right thing to say was. Seeing Ava Sterling standing next to Ethan Cole, Kevin Chen started getting restless. So the foster dad finally dropped that simp title. Yet the school's golden girl, Ava, didn't even spare him a smile. But the next second, a cold, crisp voice rang out. Good morning. Hearing that, Kevin nearly jumped like he'd seen a ghost. What the heck? Ava greeted Ethan Cole first. Even Ethan looked slightly surprised. He only gave her a light, casual reply, morning. That was all she got, flat as lukewarm water. A flicker of confusion showed in Ava's clear eyes. Wasn't Ethan usually the one talking nonstop? Why was he so quiet today? But he did save her a few days ago. You're supposed to be proactive with your rescuer. Thinking that, Ava awkwardly asked, you got here pretty early today. Back then, the moment Ethan stepped out of his car, he'd always find Ava waiting at the school gate. Even when Ethan woke up earlier than usual, her silhouette would still be there waiting. But today, nothing. Or rather, ever since the fight with Chase Dalton's crew, Ethan hadn't heard a word from Ava. He came to school early today just to apologize to her. He waited at the gate, waited until he was almost late for class. No Ava. Did she skip because she was seriously hurt? The thought tightened something in Ava's chest. She sped up, wanting to ask their homeroom teacher, but there, Ethan was right by the classroom door. Ah, so he was fine. Seeing Ava, unusually talkative today, Ethan was confused but still replied, no, later than usual by 30 minutes. From now on, I'm coming at this time. Ava nodded, face still blank. I waited at the gate but didn't see you. I thought you were badly hurt. Seeing you okay, I'm glad. Hearing that, Ethan looked at her strangely. That calm, expressionless face, and she said she was happy because of me. But there was a hint of sincerity in her voice. Thinking that, Ethan chuckled. The people you rejected must have been heartbroken. They probably thought you were mocking them. Huh. Ava blinked her pretty eyes, tilting her head. Really? Ethan was speechless. What an adorable idiot. He nodded seriously. Back then, Ethan had to study and protect Ava every day. Barely had time to breathe, let alone make small talk with her. Everyone else was different. People kept trying to get close to Ava, looking for a chance to talk. No wonder every admirer said she was cold. Turns out she was just too blunt, stabbing right through their pride. Ethan suddenly felt like he'd uncovered the truth. Richard Sterling taught his daughter music, art, but not the art of conversation. Ava lowered her eyes, gently nodding. So everyone really found her talking bad. She truly didn't get it. She spoke clearly, concisely what was wrong with that. Right then, Kevin Chen hesitantly cut in. You two, the way you treat each other, doesn't match the rumors at all. What do you mean? That weird way you communicate, why can't I understand it? Ethan waved him off. It's nothing. Go play. Oh, okay. Kevin nodded blankly. He backed away from the two, glancing at the chocolate bar in his hand, then toward Madison Lee in the classroom. He suddenly felt scared to eat. Seeing that, Ethan laughed and looked at Ava. When it comes to eating in class, the key is courage and eyesight. Ava stared at her book, but her ears perked up slightly. Kevin still didn't get it. Ethan continued. Courage means always daring to shove food into your mouth. Eyesight means checking if a teacher's nearby. Kevin burst out laughing. So that's what you meant. Ava kept her cold expression on the book, but the corner of her lips curled ever so slightly. What are you laughing at? Your first place again. Madison Lee's voice echoed through the whole floor. Ethan couldn't help thinking, being a homeroom teacher must be exhausting. You even have to train your yelling skills. Kevin Chen, get inside, all of you. Wait for your next period, teacher. As soon as Madison Lee finished, the three had no choice but to obediently head inside. Ava walked in first. Everyone's eyes instantly followed her. Beauty like hers destroys both men and women alike. Ever since she started high school, her admirers weren't just upperclassmen or freshmen. Even senior girls chased her. Walking past the teacher's podium, Ava suddenly slowed down. She even staggered a little. The whole class thought she was about to say something. But only Ethan, after a few seconds of thought. You instantly felt something was off. Was she having low blood sugar again? To prevent the school's beauty queen from collapsing on you again, Ethan Cole quickly grabbed a candy from Kevin Chen's pocket. He tightened his grip around Ava Sterling's wrist and pushed the chocolate against her lips so she'd swallow it. Ava's sparkling eyes widened in surprise. As the sweetness melted across her tongue, she obediently swallowed. The dizziness slowly faded. Inside the classroom, the class vice rep, who'd always had a crush on Ava, slammed his desk and shot up. Ethan, what do you think you're doing? Who told you you could take advantage of her? But Ethan didn't even look at him. Only when Ava was steady again, did he finally release her wrist, shove his hands into his pockets, and return to his seat. Seeing his words had an effect, the vice rep felt triumphant. He hurried to the podium, trying to impress her. Ava, are you okay? Seeing him butt in, every other boy in class gritted their teeth in annoyance. Why were you yelling at Ethan? Ava had recovered, her dark eyes staring at the vice rep with suspicion. The moment her gaze landed on him, he immediately panicked. He touched your hand. He was taking advantage of you. Ava Sterling calmly said, no, he wasn't. Her words threw the entire class into chaos. No one expected the school goddess to speak that much. Wasn't Ethan supposed to be the one crushing on her? Damn, did a long-term crush actually pay off? Do I still have time to shoot my shot? The vice rep had no idea what was happening, and opened his mouth to speak again. But when he met the cold, unmoving eyes of Ava Sterling, fear struck him instantly. Not everyone is as brave as you. Move. Ava raised a brow. The vice rep froze. You're blocking the way. Ava stared at him, wondering if he was actually this dense. Oh, right. His mind went blank, and as he turned around, he slipped and fell flat on the podium. The whole class burst out laughing. This guy's embarrassing. Kevin Chen covered his mouth with a book, still shaken from what he'd just witnessed. What's going on with you and Ava? You were protecting her. Since the day Ava transferred in, the number of times she'd spoken this much was only when she accepted first-place awards and gave speeches. Yet today she talked that much. For you. Ethan slowly lifted his head, and from there he could see Ava's back. He'd chosen this seat because he could always keep an eye on her. Her posture was always straight. Sometimes, you really wondered if Richard Sterling had absolutely no idea how to raise a daughter, and somehow ended up raising an AI robot instead. You pulled your gaze back, and muttered, and what about us? He'd been waiting for that question. Kevin Chen perked up immediately. Obviously, a few days ago you confessed, like hardcore, and Ava Sterling rejected you brutally. Wandered the streets heartbroken. You smoked, drank, had an existential crisis, and decided to turn your life around and study hard. Your scalp tingled, and your grades shot up, and Ava Sterling couldn't adapt to life without you. She suddenly realized she'd loved you all along, just too prideful to admit it. You choked on your own breath. To win you back, she did all sorts of crazy, irrational things. She even got into a car crash and ended up in the ice, and you finally caved, and the two of you got back together. You looked away. That's, honestly, not a bad plot. Where did you even get that from? Kevin proudly declared, romance web novels. Second chance arcs. Did we reach the hero chases his wife arc yet? And the CEO calls her baby girl again chapter. Wait, that voice didn't sound like Kevin anymore. Kevin's voice abruptly cut off. Mr. Green. Ethan, I'm so dead. It's fine. I deserve it. Wearing a smile, That screamed defeat. You were kicked out of class alongside Kevin, barely sat down, and you were already back on your feet. Only one thought echoed in your head. So you read angst romances, but it still has a happy ending, right? Kevin scratched his head and muttered awkwardly, I saw the girls in class reading them, so I borrowed one. Back in school, I could spend hours reading the user manual, so of course I'd get hooked on these two. Footsteps echoed down the stairwell. Kevin remembered Ethan's sharp hearing earlier. Ethan shook his head. I only recognize Ava's footsteps. Kevin looked at you with pure pity. Seeing is truly believing. You were down bad. Later, he'd make sure Ava Sterling suffered just a little so she'd realize her own heart. At some point, Kevin's inner scale had tipped entirely toward your side. Yo, where you guys at? A loud, cocky voice rang from the hallway. You didn't even need to look to know who it was. Summer Frost. You're late. Ever since Summer Frost and Ava Sterling stepped onto campus, the debate over who was the school's true beauty queen had never stopped. Some preferred the fiery little chili pepper Summer Frost. Others preferred the icy elegance of Ava Sterling. The school beauty war, loud and fiery, didn't reach a final verdict until a month after school started. And the title ultimately went to Ava Sterling, for a reason no one saw coming. Some senior tried to use his status to mess with Summer Frost. She snapped his arm on the spot with her bare hands. A girl breaking a senior's arm, with nothing but pure strength. Three things that had nothing to do with each other, yet somehow ended up strangely connected. After that incident, Summer Frost instantly became untouchable. No one wanted to go after a rose with thorns that sharp. So the moment Summer Frost appeared, Kevin Chen immediately lowered his head, staring hard at the floor. This tile really is a tile. Unfortunately, with Kevin's massive build, it looked like watching an elephant try to bury its head in the sand. You, on the other hand, were perfectly calm. You met Summer Frost's gaze without flinching. She was an art department student, her class attendance wildly unpredictable. Whether she showed up or not, nobody really cared. Maybe that was the privilege of the arts. She had her whole head dyed a blazing gold. Her light brown eyes gleamed like gemstones. Summer Frost lifted her chin slightly and walked straight up to you. She opened her mouth, ready with her usual mocking tone. Pathetic little stalker. But today, you cut her off. That hair color suits you, makes you look brighter. Summer Frost froze on the spot. A whole string of insults clogged in her throat, neither going up nor down. She absolutely couldn't process what she'd just heard.